Hey, I want to come on here today to give you some information about a network called 764. So let's get into this video.
George, good morning. The FBI is warning that this new network has a potential national security implication, but also in case after case, directly reaching into American homes, targeting teens and their families. Its name, 764.
Hello? I've placed two explosives inside of Rockville High School, okay? And if they fail to detonate, I'm just going to shoot every kid I see, okay?
This call was a hoax, but part of a series of nightmare threats terrorizing Vernon, Connecticut. Investigators determining the threats came from overseas, but with the help of a teenage girl living right in town.
He was doing these threats with her knowledge and with some of her input.
Both of them involved in a shadowy online global network called 764, which wants governments toppled and the world in chaos, but which also targets kids on social media and gaming platforms, befriending them before demanding violent and sexual content from them.
They will encourage them sometimes to commit suicide. They will encourage them to do cutting. They will encourage them to harm their pets.
They're using basically psychological warfare on children.
That's right. They gain the trust, and then they continue to build that trust to the point where they have power and the ability to blackmail the child, basically.
The girl thought the hoaxer was her boyfriend, and he convinced her to share pornography and create 764 related content, like this Barbie doll with the group's name written on its forehead.
It was very difficult to process. I wanted to scream, "Not my child."
ABC News agreed to alter the faces and voices of the parents of the teenage girl.
Before it started, she was a child who was on the honor roll. She had a lot of friends, and then slowly that started to change.
When the girl began to resist demands, her family says extortion and threats against her ramped up.
Do we consider her a victim or a participant? Depending on who you ask, the answer may be different.
So you sometimes have victims who then become subjects themselves because they start to go out and perpetrate acts on behalf of the individual who victimized them.
The FBI tells ABC News in an exclusive interview that it has more than 250 open investigations tied to the 764 network, reaching all 55 field offices across the nation. Nearly a dozen others have already been charged, including a young Arkansas man seen here being arrested on unrelated charges.
Man, this guy's got some weird stuff in his car, bro.
But now pleading guilty to plotting to murder a 14-year-old girl in a separate case when she stopped complying with his demands. Back in Connecticut, the parents of that teenage girl hoping that what happened to her family can be a cautionary tale for others.
If we can help just one family, then it's worth it.
Boy, Pierre, this is such a chilling story right there. So is this name 764 a clue to their motivations?
Well, the origins are in Texas. A 15-year-old boy who lives in an area code with a zip code that begins with 764 helped launch the network. And George, this group is about pain. This group is about terror. It's about bringing about harm to people. There does not seem to be any kind of financial motive that we can see.
And Pierre, interesting what you asked about whether they're victims or participants. This young girl you profiled here, where is she now? How is she doing?
Well, she was arrested and she's making her way through the judicial process. She's cooperating with police. Her parents hope that through the cooperation she can get her life back and not have her future destroyed. She's in therapy, making her way back, but not fully back.
So what does law enforcement, what do they want parents to know?
At the end of the day, you have to engage with your children. Keep communicating with them. Know what platforms they're using. And if you see anything suspicious, report it to police.
I just want to read over some information. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just to kind of give you an idea of who 764 is. I just want to read this one part. According to the affidavit in the District of Columbia, 764 is a network of nihilistic, violent extremists who engage in criminal conduct in the United States and abroad, seeking to destroy civilized society through the corruption and exploitation of vulnerable populations, which often includes minors. The 764 network accelerationist goals include social unrest and the downfall of the current world order, including the United States government. So as you see, with nihilistic type of mentality, they don't believe in anything really. They don't believe in the law of nature. They don't believe in the law of any country. They don't believe in religion. They don't really feel that. They feel that there's no point in life. There's no real reason to live life. So when you're thinking like that, you feel you can just do any and everything that you want to because there is no rules, there is no consequences, there is nothing. You can just basically do whatever you want. And so they're targeting kids to do these things by going online, by, making them think that they're friends with them, they're in relationships with them. They do different things to gain the loyalty and trust of these young kids because they are very vulnerable. And then once they have this trust, they have them to do horrific things to, sometimes they're doing things to themselves. Sometimes they may make them do things to their sibling. They might have a younger sister or brother, and they have them do something actual to them, essay them while videotaping them. Because, like I said, these people have no moral compass. They do not care. They don't care about hurting anyone. The only thing they're thinking about is themselves and what pleasure they can get out of themselves. And it's different rings out there. Spiritual warfare. The devil is not just fighting on one front. There's multiple fronts that the devil is fighting on. So therefore, when God tells us to stand, to be aware, be in the full armor of the Lord and stand. Once you do, all you can do, just stand and be aware of the schemes of the devil. You can't see him coming, but once he get there, you should be aware of who you're dealing with based on the knowledge that God has given you by reading and studying the Bible. That's why it's very vigilant that parents are involved in their kids' lives, male and female, father and mother, to be aware of how to deal and talk to their kids so they don't fall prey to what's going on online. The first wall of defense when it comes to your kids is the parent. And so I just want to share that information with you. My name is Delmarshae. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.